All right. So thanks for joining us. We really appreciate you taking a few minutes to answer some questions. You and I have chatted quite a bit, and I'm super excited to have you on. I wanted to basically, start, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Deanna, and my husband and I are from Washington State. And we decided to look at purchasing some land, and we decided on Arizona because of climate, and it's a lot similar to where we lived in Eastern Washington before we had moved to the Seattle area, and we wanted to start our own little homestead. And kids are all grown and gone, so now we get to do what we want to do, kind of, for the
Right.
most part.
Right. That's
So
good.
started looking at Arizona because we have friends that live in the St. John's area.
Okay.
And so we trusted them to go out and look at the property for us because we were not in a position at that time to just hop in the
Take a
car.
look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I
And
didn't realize it was similar to Eastern Washington. That's interesting.
very so the soil that we bought the
Okay.
property on is very similar to Eastern Washington sandy loamy soil.
Okay. That's good to know. So
And then
basically, I normally ask what attracted you to the land, but really it's maybe a more temperate climate, or kind of what were you thinking?
it was the climate and the affordability.
Okay. All right. And so how did you find us? Do you remember?
We found you, I think, was through Land and Farm, maybe.
Okay. One of those. Right.
Yeah, those websites. And we had found a piece of property prior to yours. And
That's
upon
right.
looking into it, it was landlocked. And when I was questioning the other person, they're like, oh, we're not sure. Well, it turns out they had never been to the property. And so they had a complete map of how to get there. And when our friends tried to get there, they were informed, and we were informed after the fact, that they had been trespassing because it was landlocked by a rancher. So
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah,
I'm
and it's common. Like we buy in so many states, we haven't been there either, but we try to make sure. And you and I did have a lot of conversations about access
curious
to be
because
sure.
I found yours, the land that you sold us. I found that like a week after
Okay.
we had gone through this other process. So I was really gun shy, and I pretty much grilled you, like told you, don't BS me, I won't BS
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I remember.
Going on. And I was very abrupt because, like I said, I had just
Yeah.
kind of got hurt.
And
So
that's okay with us because we welcome the questions. We don't know what we don't know. Let's find out together. So it was really great to
we
hear
did.
that.
You and I found out a lot together.
Yeah, we did. We sure did.
And so, no, it turned out that we just had it appraised, or not appraised, I'm sorry. We just had it, um,
Survey.
thank you. We
Survey.
just had it surveyed in November. And the pins that the surveyor gave us were only maybe 5 feet off of the pins that you gave us.
That was really good to hear. I was glad to
I'm
know.
so impressed by that because we have heard other stories where people have purchased a piece of property, and the pins that were given to them were actually a property 2, 3, 4 parcels over.
Yeah,
And
that's
I was just kind of like going, okay, we both did our research on this. We've got to be good on this. And when the surveyor came back with the pins, and I matched your pins to the pins he gave us, it was, like I said, probably within 5, 10 feet of, and so everything was still accessible. We have road access.
that's
Yeah, it's
awesome.
a beautiful piece of property. We're very excited.
Oh, I'm so glad. We want to make sure that it's the right property for the buyer, that it's going to be something they can use. And we have a great team. They work hard to try to do the best they can, and using like the GIS plat maps, try to match, GPS coordinates. So I'm super happy to hear that.
I keep
Were you at,
all the property for you.
what's that?
Is it up here? We're in Minnesota right now working for the DigiKey experience. And there's a lot of people that are looking to buy land, and they're looking in Arizona. Some of them are looking in the Appalachian area. And so I keep handing out your name going, check.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, we always have land available in Arizona. It's super, I mean, it's great. I'm glad that people can get where they want to go. And that's why we try to have, kind of a variety. And before, like, obviously the situation with the other parcel goes without saying, but before you found that parcel, were you concerned about buying land online, particularly since you couldn't go see it?
Yeah, I really was, because we started kind of this thought process probably 20 years ago
Okay.
when it was like so cheap in Arizona. And we just thought it's got to be a scam. There's no way.
Right.
It's coming from Washington State where land is so expensive.
Sure.
What are people, this has got to be a scam. And then we
Right. It's a scam. Here's 1 square inch.
And so we kind of kept thinking about it on and off. And then our friends moved to St. John's, and they've been off grid now for about 4 years and doing very well. So we're like, okay, when the mandates happened and we were forced into doing, getting out of Washington State, basically, Arizona was like, okay, let's take the plunge. And so we just
Good.
kind of
Yeah.
went. And your financing terms, I felt were better than others. Your interest rate was better than some of the others, and you actually had answers, and that you weren't, when we talked on the phone, it wasn't, I never took it as you were just blowing smoke to make it sound better than what it was. I've heard some stories recently, people coming from other states, getting out there in the desert and deciding, oh, this isn't for us. We couldn't figure out how to turn the water on.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the middle
Yeah.
of the desert. Come on.
Yeah.
So,
Let's do our research. Right. Right. So,
exactly.
so
So
once we got past, okay, let's make sure we have access and work through some of those things together. Did you find the process to buy land from us was fairly simple and straightforward?
very, yes,
Good.
everything was in, and anything that we did have a question on, and the contract was handled immediately. There was no 2 or 3, 4 day lag time. It was like
Good.
anything we had a question on, you were on it within 24 hours. And I know at that time you guys had a lot of stuff going on because you were in and out of location. So no, it was handled very well.
We try to do that. We want to be responsive. I hear people all the time saying they're not getting answers from land companies, whether they're buying or selling. And that's disturbing to me. It's like, this is a business and we want to be professional. Like I said, we have a great team or we couldn't do what we do. So we really appreciate everything they, put into it. So let me ask this, now that you're a land investor, how does it feel to be an investor?
It feels amazing to know that we have that kind of security.
Good, good,
Yeah.
awesome.
Because
Everybody's
there's a
got,
lot, there's a lot going on right now in the world, and our
yeah.
big thing is we want to make sure that we had an area that we could grow our own vegetables, have our own animals, and have that security that we have a place to be.
Amen, sister. I love that. So let me ask you this. Anything that what should I be asking you? Like if you were a new buyer and you're like, wow, I've never bought land, which we hear all the time. And that's why we try to be helpful and give the information that we have. But what would you like someone else considering doing business with us to know about doing business with us?
I don't know. There's not really any one thing. What I can say to find out the questions to ask, I guess, is the access, obviously.
Mhm.
Another big thing about land in Arizona is check your floodplain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Know what, when doing your due diligence, as
Right.
all
Right.
every website I looked at is do your due diligence. And I don't think a lot of people know, because we didn't know,
Sure.
what that entailed. And so
Right.
we just
Right.
YouTube videos, ran across somebody who said, here's your 6 top things that you need to know. And I took those top 6 and probably made them about 24 and then dug deeper.
Right. That's good. Good stuff. Well, so, if somebody says is,
You're very honest.
oh, good.
You're very upfront. You let people know that you haven't been to the land. But the thing is also, you have somebody who does your drone work.
Mhm.
So you're not just putting pictures of an antelope. We've all seen those, right? And I'm not singling anyone out because
That's cute. I love it.
But it's like, oh, you have antelope and you have all these elk. Well, not every location has antelope or elk.
Sure, sure.
Not every location has pinyon pine. Some of it only has tall grasses and sagebrush.
Sure. Yeah.
Your depiction of that property that we bought was spot on. It
Oh,
was
good.
pictures of the property and walking, because we did go in September and check out the property before coming to Minnesota. And I could pick out landmarks that I saw in the photographs to go, oh, this is where we're at. Now, exactly the feet, we're trying to use our GPS and stuff, but you actually had real photographs of the real property and real drone footage of the property, not just some picture of an antelope in the petrified
Yeah.
forest.
Yeah,
So,
good, good. So, and you actually congratulations, you were able to pay off your land early. And did you get your deed in a timely manner?
oh my gosh, it was so, I was like going, oh, it'll be sometime next year, from what we had been hearing from, because we had called uh, Apache County offices when we were there. I stopped in and they're like,
Yeah,
yeah, we're still a little bit behind schedule. But you said, oh, you'll have it by sometime like within 2 weeks. And I think it was only a week later, and I had it in the
good.
email and the letters came in the mail shortly
Awesome.
thereafter. So yeah, it was very timely,
So if
very good.
someone said, Deanna, is this a scam? What would Deanna say?
Oh, heck no.
Oh, good. It's a real business, right?
I mean, there are some sites, like I said, and we experienced it wasn't that they were scammers. They just didn't know enough about the property they were selling.
Sure.
And there are a few others. And when I've run across those, well, I told them, hey, you're trying to sell land that is landlocked. Have you researched this? And in that general area,
Yeah,
not too far from where we bought, is a lot of landlocked land. So just be aware.
sure.
And I would buy from you guys again in a heartbeat.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate you guys. You were great to work with, and I feel like we know each other a little bit now. And is there anything else you'd like to add before we log off?
No, just don't put it off. Prices are going up all the time. They're not getting much better. Don't
Right,
wait for the golden opportunity, because there really isn't a better time to
right,
do it. And with the financing terms that you guys offer, there's really, and the fact that you're also willing to work. It's like what's on the website is a starting point,
sure.
but you guys were also very willing to negotiate a little bit to make the terms, make the payments where we could afford them
Mhm.
until we could get the money to get it all paid off. So I would highly recommend you guys,
Oh,
because
thank you. And we really want people to own land for their benefit. It's unlike a house that might depreciate or the market goes down or, whatever. Land is never going to go away and they can hand something down to their kids if they never use it.
even
It's
if
just
you
such
put
a,
one building
yeah,
on, you just put even a shed on it, it increases the value of that property like crazy.
yeah, yeah,
So you can either sit on that land and just hold on to it as an investment, or you can put a little something on it and then make that investment double or even triple from what I've been seeing other
that's
people.
awesome. Good advice. Good advice. Thank you so much for taking the time and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.